Morning everyone, and welcome back to the Runpreneur vlog, where we discuss all things entrepreneurship and running. It is a beautiful morning today. It's not too cold, it's about 2 or 3 degrees, or it might even be 4 degrees, sorry, but the sun's out and there's not too much wind either, so nice running conditions today for a change. Pretty wet though, so you can't have it all. It's Friday Funnels today, where we discuss all things marketing and sales funnels related. And today's topic is the pros and cons of ManyChat, which is a Facebook Messenger chatbot, and understanding where it's good, where it's not so good, so you can decide whether to use it in your own business. So as always, if you like this episode, please give it a like and subscribe, and let's get started. So, ManyChat. What is ManyChat for starters, for those of you not familiar with it? But it's a chatbot. So, chatbots have multiple kind of functions, but ultimately it's a bot that kind of syncs with your Facebook page, and what it will do is it will communicate in an automated fashion with people. So you can send out kind of lists. It's like an email autoresponder, but for Facebook Messenger. Ultimately, you can have add-ons as well, so you can do things via text message. It can also do things via email as well, with different pricing packages. It can host basic landing pages, so it's a pretty cool, multifunctional kind of tool for using in your marketing campaigns. Now, why do people use it? Well, the big advantage of ManyChat is it's Messenger, Facebook Messenger predominantly. I mean, it's a live chat function on your Facebook page, or you can put it on your website as well. So you've got this kind of live chat support feature on your web presence. But the real benefit of it is when if you send an email out to your list, for example, notoriously the open rates are going to be relatively low. The click-through rates will be even lower. So it's a strategy that definitely works. However, you have to do it at volume to kind of get any form of traction. Whereas with ManyChat, the open rates are significantly higher. And what I'm talking about is you might get 25-30% open rate with an email, which may be good or not so good depending on how good you are at email copy. But with ManyChat, you send a message out to your list in ManyChat and you might get 90% open rate, 95%. Morning. So it's monumentally better open rates. Now, the downside to Messenger is that with email you can be quite prolific and you can consistently send stuff out. People kind of accept, they're kind of used to that side of things. But as soon as you start hitting people's Facebook Messenger accounts, it's more personal, kind of social type chatting function. So you have to be very, very careful about being over promotional. There's obviously limitations with marketing promotions if people haven't opted in, so you need to obviously overcome that. You can do that very simply through some of the sequences you can put in place in ManyChat. But it's it's just you can not offend people, but offend's the wrong word, but annoy people if you send too much marketing stuff to something like Facebook Messenger, when people generally are mixing with their friends and loved ones and nearest and dearest on there as a kind of a general rule. So that's what you have to kind of really understand. If you get the balance right, if you get the balance right, it's super powerful. And if you do it the right way and you're engaging and you're building relationships in the right way, it is super powerful. So that's a kind of a high level overview of what the chatbot can do for you. Now, I'm not an expert in this. I've used chatbots quite a lot, sometimes to great effect, sometimes not such good effect, but these are my experiences. So there are people out there that their whole business runs off of the back of chatbots, and they're the experts. I'm just giving you my experience for anybody who's considering using it and they want to speak to somebody who's kind of used them for a while and can give some kind of feedback before they make that decision. So that's what this episode is really about. So there's lots of other things you can do with it as well. The automation front of ManyChat is pretty amazing. You can link it with kind of Zapier. It can pull data into your CRMs and that sort of thing. You can capture emails through it. You can sell. You can put an e-commerce platform on the back of it. You can attach your kind of Stripe account, or I think you might even be able to attach PayPal to it, so you can actually sell through it as well. So there's so much functionality you can kind of do delays. You're kind of getting almost all of the same kind of levels of automation you get with an email autoresponder. So much functionality there, and you can do some really, really creative things with it. So the pros, I mean, where have I used it to great effect? Well, for starters, for me, in the right setting, it can be the best email opt-in function you can have. And the reason I say that is that any of you that you're familiar with kind of opt-in forms and trying to capture leads for your business, well, the biggest resistance on an opt-in form is that person has to fill in their details, name. It might even just be a first name and an email address, but that's still enough of a resistance for many people to submit that. Whereas ManyChat, if you set it up correctly, it will pull their email address that's linked to their Facebook account, because it's ultimately connecting with people's Facebook accounts as it's run predominantly through Messenger. So if you set it up correctly, you can have an opt-in process where people, you ask them to register by clicking their email below, and the actual feed in ManyChat will pull that email address directly, and it's already got their first and surname details because it's linking to their Facebook accounts, and the person just needs to click a button and bang, they're opted in. So that's hugely powerful, and you can get some really good conversion rates on opt-ins by doing that. However, the downside is that because it's Facebook Messenger based, I never thought I'd say this, but depending on your target market, I'm 38 and we do a lot of business with kind of the lower age demographic, and I'm generally finding that if you're in your 30s and above, pretty much everyone has Facebook accounts. But if you're under 30, Facebook is starting to become a bit old fogey and dated. People are more kind of into kind of TikTok, more into Insta, more into kind of Clubhouse, and Facebook seems a bit old school now. Just my kind of experience, and you will get resistance to people opting if they don't have a Facebook account, and there are many people out there that don't now, whereas previously it was just common knowledge that everybody had a Facebook account. Not always the case anymore, so it's not going to work for those people that don't. And secondly, there's often some issues with how people use it when they're kind of using it from a desktop platform. So you can get glitchy situations where the Messenger platform on your desktop, or browser-based version, can be a little bit glitchy, and the kind of automation doesn't work. So you can get people trying to opt in, and then the options don't appear as they should do. So it can be glitchy on the browser screen or the desktop version, and you occasionally get issues with kind of Android users as well. So there's going to be some people you lose from going to that, which isn't ideal. But anybody who's on Facebook and Instagram and a mobile device, it cleans up with. So that's my experience. There might be some cool hacks and ways around this, but yeah. So as a result, I've stopped kind of using ManyChat for email opt-ins now, unless it's primarily focusing at people who are in Facebook. So if you're doing Facebook ads, etc., then absolutely you want to be using ManyChat to kind of back as a tool to kind of support your ad campaigns, because you should see your conversions significantly improve on the basis of ease of interface for the kind of end user. So that's just a little bit of things to be aware of. So I generally opt-ins across most of my platforms I'll use. I don't use Linktree. I have my own landing page, which is set up a bit like a Linktree account, so we just have links on there for multiple things, and that's kind of how I do it on my social accounts. But if you've got a Facebook group, or you're communicating with existing clients and you put them into a Facebook group setting, then ManyChat is super, super powerful. So there's some examples of how we've used this in the past and how we're continuing to use ManyChat. Is that we have I'm running into the sun now. We have our 2 Squared Academy, which is our property education business, which is our academy there, and basically we have a Facebook group where we kind of build this community where people can help each other. We have some moderators in there and stuff as well, which is always handy, and because they're all in the Facebook group, we can get them to sign up for our messenger bot, our ManyChat bot, and because we know they've all got Facebook accounts, they're all in the group, they'll be super engaged. It's really, really easy to kind of communicate with them, because if you're going live in a group, for example, they will get a notification that you're going live, but quite often people don't check their Facebook notifications as frequently as they would if a message come into Messenger. So if you've got them on your ManyChat, you can send them a message and make the attendance of your online events through Facebook in particular, or Insta, far more engaged and far more attendance level so much higher, because you know they're on there and you know your message is going to get to them by using the ManyChat bot. So it's really, really cool there. If you have a kind of a top of the funnel kind of Facebook group where you're driving the group growth into your funnel, then again, really cool to kind of get them on your chatbot as part of joining the group process. If they do that, you'll be building a list, but also you'll have them on your ManyChat list, so that, and you know they're on Facebook again, so there shouldn't be an issue with them accessing the information. But what you'll then find is that you can engage with them far more effectively than using email. And if you've got a big group, quite often when you start putting stuff out there in the group, you know, Facebook algorithm, it will start penalising you the bigger your group is, so you get less and less reach. ManyChat is a great way of a kind of enhancing the kind of reach you're going to get, because you could potentially send everybody in your group a message that you're going live, and you can send a link to the actual live stream, and bang, they'll be able to click on and just join straight away. So there's some really cool ways of doing it. So that's pretty much it for me today. I think I've covered it kind of at a high level. I've kind of given you my experiences on the pros and cons of ManyChat. There's absolutely a place for this in your kind of marketing strategy. It's just using it in the right environment, because the big issue, if everybody had a Facebook and a Messenger account, I'd almost go as far to say you have to be using it, it's essential. But because of the inefficiencies whereby you get some links that you're linking people to your chatbot, if they don't have a Facebook account, they won't get through. There's some kind of limitations to what you can do with it based on that and that alone. So, but otherwise, for engagement, for open rates, for click-through rates, it smashes email out of the park. However, you know, with the good old-fashioned email, generally speaking, alright, it might go into people's spam boxes and stuff like that as well, but generally speaking, an email will be delivered, it just might not be read. Whereas ManyChat, stuff might not even be delivered because of incompatibility with kind of device software they're using, or the fact they don't have a Facebook account, so or an Instagram account as such. So yeah, that's pretty much it on this topic. As always, if you have any questions on this, please drop me a message. I'll respond to everyone. If it's a bigger question, I'll still respond, but I'll do a separate vlog episode and tag you in. If this isn't relevant to you, no drama, just unfollow me. You can still remain friends, just unfollowing me will stop it cluttering up your social feeds. But before you do that, do check out the Runpreneur YouTube channel, as I cover a different topic on each day of the week there. So just because today's topic may not be relevant, there could be other days that are super relevant to you. So do check that out. And all that's left to say is that the Runpreneur blog was set up to help entrepreneurs and business owners overcome the emotions of stress, overwhelm and anxiety by using exercise as kind of a release valve to relieve the kind of daily, weekly pressures that are associated with daily life, and especially entrepreneurship. Just going past someone, sorry. So it's so important, and you know, it can often be the difference between success and failure, how well someone deals with these emotions. Because if you deal with them well and you process them, you clear your head, and if you remain in control and remain having clear clarity on what you're doing, you can accomplish so much more, and you can move on and thrive under the pressures and move on to bigger and better things. If you don't have that release mechanism, then what often will happen is it's like pressure in a pipe. The pressure in the form of stress will build and build and build to overwhelm, and overwhelm then builds and builds and builds, evolves to anxiety and mental health issues, and at some point the pipe's going to burst. And in that instance, one of two things usually happens. Just going past someone. Morning. One of two things happens, and that's either the entrepreneur has a breakdown or the business breaks down. And unfortunately, either of those circumstances is very difficult to recover, and it can often be highly likely that your business will not last the test of time in that situation. Now, I've been there. I've lost multiple businesses. I've lost multiple business partners. I've almost been bankrupt because of these issues. And it's only really recently, since I've started my running routines and this vlog, which is almost like online counselling for me, that has made a huge difference to me in both my career and personal well-being. And there's no coincidence in the last 6 months I've made more progress in the last 3 to 4 years. I've got more on now than I've ever had on. We're more profitable than we've been for a long time, and there's no coincidence that that's when I started doing the running challenge and the blog every day. So my pledge to you is that if you are someone struggling with this, drop me a message, okay? There's no catch here. I'm just going to jump on a call with you, and I'm going to try and give you a few helpful tips and a bit of advice on what you can implement into your daily lives or weekly lives or whatever frequency you choose to make a difference and get you back on the right track. I'm not selling anything, there's no catch. And several of you have taken me up on this, and we've made some really positive inroads into their situation. So help is there, and there's more help that's available than you probably realise. You just have to ask. So on that note, that's it for me. All that's left to say is that if you like this episode, please give it a like, a comment and a subscribe on my YouTube channel. If you want to see more similar content, please check out the playlist link on the YouTube channel, whereby everything's catalogued nice and neatly by topic. And I'll leave you as always with stay positive, stay happy, and I'll see you tomorrow. Bye.